Boy, oh boy, Pusha T is violating Travis Scott. And let me tell you, this is probably one of the most valid violations I've seen in a minute, bro. Let me break this down. Clips just released a new track, So Be It, where Pusha T is just completely, bro, crashing out on Travis Scott, airing out all their beef. He even did like an interview. I seen an interview clip where he explains his issue with Travis Scott. And bro, let me tell you something, bro. This is not a shocker to me because I already knew Pusha T didn't like this nigga, bro. I didn't need Pusha T to tell me he didn't like Travis Scott for me to tell you he doesn't like Travis Scott. Him and Travis Scott, them niggas go way back. They were both part of good music, or you know what I'm saying, they technically were both a part of good music. Ran in the same clique. One of the first time I've ever heard Travis Scott was on the Pusha T record. And of course like the Meek Mill record he did on the you know on the Meek Mill mixtape. So nonetheless though, it's just to say that Travis Scott and Pusha T were good friends. But one thing about Travis is one of the fakest individuals you will ever come across in this rap game thing, bro. Like the type of stuff he's been getting away with is crazy. So of course we know Pusha T, Drake, they don't like each other, haven't liked each other for a long time. Pusha T been kind of dissing this nigga Drake for a good chunk of his career. Like he started subbing Drake during the Take Care era. So we all know it came to a head. Them niggas beefed. It kind of caused some weird tensions between their cliques and whatnot. So, but for right now, I'm gonna just stick to Pusha T's issues with Travis Scott. So during the Utopia album rollout, obviously on the album there's a song called Meltdown. On Meltdown, Drake is dissing Pusha T, but more importantly, Pharrell. A lot of people took issue with him dissing the nigga Pharrell because Pharrell don't really be doing shit. He has no real part within this beef. Like it rubbed Kendrick the wrong way, and more importantly, it rubbed Pusha T the wrong way. But Drake, Pusha T at this point, he doesn't really have he did what he did. Like he's affected Drake's career in like the worst way ever. So he's not really he thinks Drake's lame. There's it is what it is. His real issue here is with Travis Scott. Cause nigga, Travis Scott, why are you allowing this nigga to get on your record to diss niggas you have no real beef with? Meanwhile, if Pusha T gets on a Pop Smoke and Young Thug record, nigga, they're not allowing that. Young Thug is immediately coming out and saying something to Drake. It's or not something to Drake, but yeah, something he's saying. He's disavowing the record publicly, calling out Pusha T. Like it's not you don't get on other people's records and just dissing niggas the other niggas don't have beef with, especially when those niggas are cool with you. But the craziest part about the whole song Meltdown, that I really think people don't appreciate is the fact that he named the song Meltdown. Like Travis Scott named the song Meltdown, you know, after bars dissing one of his idols and one of his good collaborators, because I'm pretty sure Travis Scott looks up to Pharrell. Obviously, he has a good deal of respect for Pusha T as well in his music, and they're good friends. They're label mates, good acquaintances, did music together. They're good friends. So yeah, that's a different level of dick riding, bro. It's one thing to let a nigga come on your record dissing other niggas. It's like, why are you letting yourself be used as a pawn for this nigga to do that? For one, like you're giving him a platform. This isn't even the first time Drake has done this with Travis Scott of all people too. So, but we'll get into that. So yeah, obviously Pusha T is taking issue with that, but his even bigger issue is that Travis Scott is coming around with when he was doing the whole Utopia briefcase thing, he's coming around them with that shit, doing his little promo and whatnot, and Pusha T just sitting there like, nigga, if you have a record, one of your main singles on the record that is whole built around is dissing me and Pharrell, and we all know how Pusha T gets about Pharrell. Like this whole beef started because of Pharrell. Like back in the early, with Birdman and whatnot. But again, I'm not gonna get too much in that. It's like Pusha T is like, why would you even come around? Like it's one thing to do that. Why you come around with this suitcase and you have this record on your album that's centered around dissing us? So Pharrell is not Pharrell. Pusha T is agitated about that. But even more importantly, Pusha T's like, damn, this isn't even the first time you done no corny shit like this, okay? Because if you don't remember, Travis Drake did this with Travis Scott way before with the sicko mode thing. Like after the whole Pusha T and Drake beef, um Drake links up with Travis Scott. Even though he knows, Drake is not, Kanye and Pusha T are not cool with Drake. So he gets on the record dissing Kanye, making all kinds of threats and whatnot, seemingly, and saying all kinds, alluding to all kinds of things that might not even be true, might not. The nigga's even hyped, bro. The nigga hears the verse and he's hype as hell. He's specifically hyped at Drake dissing Kanye, talking about checks over strikes, whatnot. Obviously, a Kanye diss. He's getting hyped on this, and he's putting this record out there. Like apparently even Jay Z was supposed to be on the record, but Kanye spazzed, and I guess Jay Z was the only one who had some sense to sit there and say, "Bro, I want no parts in this." Travis is so thirsty though; he's so thirsty for the hit and for just to be connected to this nigga, bro. Just dick riding type shit. So he's putting the record out regardless, So apparently Jay Z was supposed to be on it though, but Kanye spazzed on them, and I guess the DMs, which again, valid crash out in my opinion, bro. You're supposed to be his man's, and it gets even worse because Kanye, he's the type to, he's pretty loyal for the most part. If you don't cross him, like he was the one who sat there and got on Drake's ass. Drake and Future, when they made a record, and for the most part, the record they made, especially compared to Sicko Mode and Meltdown, was harmless. Like Drake and Future did a record talking about they got 100 different Kylies or whatnot, but it was harmless for the most part. But Kanye is like, hey, Travis is your man's. You shouldn't be disrespecting his wife like that. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that. You shouldn't be talking about you have a Kylie, you have a this and that. It's kind of disrespectful since that's his woman. So that record never came out because of that, out of respect for Travis. So again, they're showing, and Kanye or Pusha T, say what you want about these individuals, they're pretty loyal. They've been known for the most part to be loyal individuals. So loyalty is kind of important thing for both these individuals. It's loyalties. Kanye expects you to be a little bit too loyal, in my honest opinion. You know, in my objective truth, if I'm going to be honest. But nonetheless, loyalty is important to these individuals. So Travis Scott coming out and doing this kind of nonsense is, the fakest kind of thing. And again, even on the Utopia record, it's like Travis done stole like 3-4 different records from Kanye to put on his album. Kanye is not on none of those records. These are Kanye records, but he's not on none of them. And the thing is, he's going to sit there and say on one of the records on Utopia, I think it's the record with Young Thug, uh, he sits there and says something like, I got Ye for president, bitch, I'm loyal, or something. Like, and I just kind of heard that record thinking, bro, the line's so laughable because Travis Scott is one of the most, he's one of the most unloyal people ever. Like, bro, I'm just sitting there. The first thing that came to my mind was the whole sicko mode thing. It's like Travis Scott is not a loyal individual, and if you're so loyal, why is Kanye West not on your album? You have all his records. You went out of your way to take his vocals out, which his vocals would have sounded pretty good on the record. You went out your way to take his vocals off, add someone else's vocals, add SZA, add this and that. He took his Kanye's record with Future. He took another one of Kanye's records on the album. I think he took like 3 different records from Kanye on that album, and they're pretty good records in my opinion, even without Kanye. But it's like, damn, if you're so loyal, why'd you take him off your record? Why won't you have him on your album? And it's just something to think about because at the end of it all, Travis Scott is not a loyal individual. He's the fakest person possible. And Pusha T knows it, Kanye knows it, all these different people know it. Like when Kanye got mad and crashed out over the sicko mode thing, what did Travis Scott do? Allegedly started sending Kanye threats because Kanye was mad about getting dissed on a hit record on his man's record, and you're allowing that to happen. And again, you're allowing Drake to diss Pusha T and Pharrell of all people on your record, and then you're going to center the whole entire record on that verse. The whole like the first half before the beat change is centered around that entire verse. It's named Meltdown. Like some of the most dick riding shit I've ever heard. You know what's even crazier though? Cause what's Drake and Travis relationship now? Is non-existent. I don't think Travis fucks with Drake. He might not have ever fucked with Drake. The nigga probably just crowd chasing. But as of right now, they don't really fuck with each other. Allegedly, Travis Scott does not like Drake. And you can kind of tell because who was the one before the Like That record came out? Who was the hypest about the record? Travis Scott. Who at Rolling Loud was sitting there, just going crazy over the record. What Drake say on the push-ups? Rolling Loud, y'all was y'all was lit as fuck, or that y'all was lit. That was slick as fuck. So I don't remember what he said on the record, but he alludes to Travis Scott, Future, Metro Boomin, who Drake was dissing, performing that song. Obviously, Drake felt some type of way about that, and Travis Scott was a part of that. So again, they don't even get along. I can guarantee you, Drake does not like Travis Scott because of that, because he knows how fake. I mean, he. I mean, you can't really be surprised. It's like getting mad at a woman for cheating on you when she cheated on her original man with you. It's like, come on, Drake. Like you know how Travis Scott gets down, but Travis Scott probably figured out that as soon as he heard the Future and Kendrick, because he knew Kendrick was on the record by that time. That's why they were saying, hey, don't, you can stop at that verse. If you listen closely to when they're performing, and Future and Metro are like, we don't want to play that record. Like that's a huge record that's going to shake up the culture, and it did. But so they didn't want to play it. But then they were like, fuck it, we'll play it. We're just not going to play that verse. So, and Travis was the one who said, just skip that verse or something, or just stop it at that verse or whatever. So Travis knew that that Kendrick verse was on that song, and he was telling them to not play it, and that's why Drake disses them on that song, or he clearly, you can tell by what he's saying, he has a issue with what they did, and I think at some point he even says, that was slick as fuck. Your tune will probably change if your BM starts to kiss and tell or something, and everyone thought that Drake was talking about Future. I didn't think he was talking about Future because you think Future gives a fuck what his what his baby mama said? Like nigga, Future didn't like Future like messages get leaked of him telling his kid his baby that their mother is a whore or something. Like I don't like I highly doubt Future cares if any of if his baby mamas come out and says anything about him. It's like sitting there like one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims coming out talking about, oh, he tried to drug me. It's like, yeah, I mean that's what Jeffrey Dahmer does, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we know how Future gets down. Like, what could his baby mama probably come out and say? What, that he's toxic? What, that he's a cheater? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? What, Future's one of those niggas where it's like it's really hard to cancel him. So in my opinion, I feel like he's talking about Travis Scott, because obviously Travis Scott's baby mama is Kylie Jenner, and she probably has a lot of different interesting things she could probably say about Travis Scott and their relationship. I think even Pusha T is alluding to something like that on his new Sobia record. So I think obviously Drake with that line wasn't dissing Rick Ross, Future, or I think he was dissing Travis Scott, if I'm gonna be honest. But I can guarantee you, Drake does not fuck with Travis Scott at all. And Travis Scott might not really fuck with Drake, or he might not have ever fucked with Drake, if I'm being honest. Like, a lot of these niggas never liked Drake, but they just kind of have to deal with him because he was kind of that nigga, bro. He was kind of like, it is what it is. It was his season. You know what I'm saying? Wayne had their season, 50 had their season, Kanye had a season, M had their season. You know, it just how that shit goes. It was his season, so people just kind of had to deal with it. But you know, as soon as he heard that that record was coming out, his tune changed. All of a sudden, he's hype as hell on stage. Like, bro, I'm trying to tell you, you know, Travis Scott is a fake individual. You know, he's an opportunist. He's an individual who will go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? If you know, having a record with Drake is what makes a hit record at the moment, he's going to do that. He don't care about none of his loyalties that he has to any of these people. You know, I'm not even mad that he would do a record with Drake, but it's like, why are you letting him diss you on your on this niggas you have no beef with on your records? You would never let no other nigga do that. That's kind of like, it's dick riding. It's dick riding. You did all that dick riding because no one fucks with you anymore. You know what I'm saying? You burned the bridge with Pusha T. You built, you know, who knows how many niggas you burn, burned a bridge over their dumb shit, all just for Drake to not fuck with you. You burned that bridge with Drake because you are hype as hell about the like that record. So now no one really is fucking with you right now, and it's well deserved. You know, people might say whatever they want about Pusha T. This, in my opinion, is a valid violation, bro. Travis Scott deserved every single bar he got from Pusha T.